I'm going to tell you a story, all right? I think it was exactly 21 years ago, 1998, that we got a phone call. It was right after I finished my daily show. It's at noontime, and I finished my show, and there was a lady, a girl who, a young woman, who called us to the studio, and she said she wants to speak to me. And I spoke to her, and she said, "You must come and meet me. Please come and meet me in the place where she was getting treatment." At the same evening, I came to see her. It was she and her psychologist. I saw a good-looking woman, but very, very, very sad woman. She told me, "I need your help. Please help me put on trial my uncle, who had been raping me all my life from the age of 4 till 22. She was 32 at that time." And she tried to explain to me the whole situation. The main point was that she wanted to put him on trial, but the state didn't let her. The attorney closed the case, and they said, "You can't put him on trial." At that time, I didn't really understand why. I told her, "Okay, come to the studio. I'll record an interview with you." And she came with her therapist, with her psychologist, of course. And here we are, you can imagine, we're sitting here in the studio, and I'm starting to talk to her, and I'm trying to start easy. And I said, "Tell me what happened after you made this big step to tell your family your big secret. What happened after that?" And then she started telling me that she was so disappointed and with their reaction, because what they said is, don't say it again, don't tell us again, forget it, it's bad, don't do it, and then actually threw her out of the family. They didn't want to speak to her anymore. She was so offended, she was so destroyed, that she decided to go to the police. And she went to the police. And she told all her story. She succeeded telling her story. But when the whole story came to the attorney, they said there will be no trial. And I had to find out why. All right, so here she is telling me the beginning of the story about her family. And then I asked her, "Orly, what did this uncle did to you? What did he do to you?" When I asked that question, it took like a few seconds, in which she turned to be a 4-year-old girl, just the age when all horrific things started, all right? Now she bent down underneath the table, her finger in her mouth, crying, "I did nothing, I did nothing, I did nothing." And there she was, a 4-year-old child. A minute before, she was a young lady, and she's 4 years old. Now, many of you are therapists, I'm sure you know what it is, right? A dissociation, you've seen it before, many times maybe. I've never seen it. For me, it was a shocking thing to see. And you know, the IDF radio station is Galei Tzahal, is the radio of the army. Young soldiers served with me. 2 soldiers sitting there and seeing all these things. We were all shocked. Of course, the interview was finished by that time. And her therapist told me, "Okay, give me a bed, a room with a bed, and it will take time. It will take a few hours till I bring her back to her age, 32. And I went with him to see it. And it was a smart thing to do, because I learned how to do it. And years after, I had to do it by myself. He let her sleep, and then he woke her up, spoke to her a little bit, and then let her sleep again. And it took like 4 hours till she came back and was 32. I was so shocked because what I saw at that time, I realized I met for the first time of my life the horrific damage, the horrific psychological destruction that sexual abuse can make. And I said, this is, I have to tell you, although it sounds dramatic, this moment changed my life, I'm telling you. Because from that day on till now, like 21 years old, I'm dedicated to this issue. I'm dedicated to this matter. I promised Ori, I will go with you all the way is needed. Because first to see the destruction, the horrific damage, and then on the other hand to think that the monster who did it to her, because he did it so well, he can go, he can be, free, he can live his life. She is a dead walking woman, and he is a free man. This is unbearable. So I said to her, Oli, I'm with you. And we started doing it's a long way, took us 12 years. Sometimes when the whole journey raised an important thing, I invited her to my show and we talked a bit about it. But the main thing was escorting her through the way behind the scenes, nothing to do with my show. I went with her to the police, to psychiatrists who needed to assess her, to the attorneys, to wherever. And I saw so many things, really, which was sad to see how the institutions try to tell these victims what to do and how to do. And mainly, she wanted a trial. They always told her, forget it. It will be hard for you. You don't need it. Forget it. And live it. Try to live your life. And she said, I can't live my life. I can't live like that, all right? But they closed the case again and again. She said, I can't live my life. So the attorney asked her, how did you live so far? All these years, how did you live? So she said, so far, I repressed everything. I repressed it. So she said, go back repressing. Can you imagine an attorney in Israel? Go back repressing. So I went with her, and at that time, I learned all the deficiencies, really all, in all kinds of ways, how the state failed in trying to really help these victims. And when people heard Orly in my radio, there came so many others. And the others brought others, and others, so many stories about sexual abuse in childhood. But the doors stayed closed. So we decided, Orly and me, to go to the state attorney in the Institute of Justice, משרד המשפטים, to meet the attorney, the state attorney, and speak to her. At that time, Edna Arbel, the Israelis of you know Edna Arbel, was the state attorney. When I called her up and I said, this is the power, being in media, this is the power. When you want to speak somebody, it can be the prime minister or any other minister, he will meet you, all right? So she said, okay, come. And we came. And I told her the vague story, and she said, okay, let's try it. Let's try. I will interrogate you as if we are in court, okay, Orly? Okay. And Edna Arbel is starting asking her questions. I think it took not more than 2 minutes that we lost her. We didn't have Orly. She became 4 years old girl, again, right in front of Mrs. Arbel's eyes and all the other stuff, all right? And she said, you see, there's no trial. And I said, how come what you see now is not an evidence? This is not proof of what she have suffered? She said, no. In a trial, in a court, you need a witness that will tell the story. Not only telling the story, but the details, all the details that is possible. No way. So I asked her to get me a bed. I put Oli to sleep. It took me like 3 or 4 hours to bring her back. I did it so many times in all the steps where I went with her. When we went out there, and I told Oli the very sad thing that there will be no trial, she said, please take me to television. I want the people of Israel to see what is happening to me, so they will decide if I deserve a trial or not. I want you invite, she told me what to do. You invite Ed Arbel to your show. I had that time, I had this show on television, like 60 minutes, something like that. 60 minutes, something like that, all right? And I invite Ed Arbel and me. You shoot me before that. You film what is happening to me and show it to her and to the Israeli audience. And I said, all right, we'll do it. So I took the camera and the crew. We went to Oli's house and I started interviewing her. I knew exactly how to make it so she will become 4 years old. I interviewed her. Everything is being filmed, all right? And there is the day of the recording of the show. On the show, I speak to Oli and I ask her, why is it so important to you? They close the case. They don't go to trial. Why is it so important to you? She said, I can't live without it. I'd rather die. She was a married woman with 2 little children. She said, I'd rather die. I can't live like that anymore. And then Ed Arbel is on screen. And I'm telling her, why don't you let her put him on trial? She said, we can't. So I said, all right, I want to show you, we have it, right? Wait a minute. I want to show, oh, you can start. I want to show you these pictures. And with you, all the Israeli crowd, viewers, are seeing what you are seeing now. And I'm telling my audience, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to look at. But do look at it. You and Ed Arbel together. Nobody has seen such things in the Israeli screen, never. I was sad all the time. Sad and afraid. Afraid, and then afraid, and ashamed, and blaming myself. Afraid, everything, million times. It's too much for a child, isn't it? Everything was by force. And then I became like a rag. And with the rag, you could do whatever you want. So he did what he wanted with me. That's it. I couldn't. I didn't have the strength to do it. I really tried hard. I resisted it. My body resisted it. My hands were closed all the time, like a snail, so that you can't take them. Because he takes your hands to do things to him. Yes. She's going to disappear. Here it comes. Orly, let's stop. Let's stop. No. I did do nothing. Orly, are you with me? I did hear one moment, please. Orly, where are you? Here she is, 4 years old girl. This is it. What is this? Do you know? You are in your home. Do you know? You are in your home and with the kids, your children. You don't recall. You don't know it. I did nothing. אוקיי, אתה יכול שנייה להדליק את האור. עדנה ארבל הגיבה, עדנה ארבל had to respond to this. Yes. Yes. I must tell you my dilemma, and I'm here to speak about dilemmas, right? To screen what you just saw, for me, was impossible, unbearable. Because, you know, this is such a horrific thing to see and to show other people. Oli have never seen herself like this. She didn't know what is happening to her, but she knew that something terrible is happening to her, and this is what not allowed her to go on trial. And she wanted us to see it. And I said, can she really understand what it means going to the street a day after? What it means, such an exposure? But she insisted on it. And you could have seen that I said, Oli, shall we stop? Because she told me, don't stop. You shoot it all the time, whatever you need it, all right? Okay. Now, after that, Edna Arbel, you see, she's speaking again, and she's saying to me, there will be no trial. We need a witness for a trial. And then, when she stepped out of the studio, she grabbed my hand and she told me, please give me a few more days. Give me a few more days. This was a big hope. It took her a month to come back to me and tell me there will be a trial. I cried. I could cry now, again. I want to remind you, the Israeli audience will know. And now she told me, days after she told me, this was my hardest decisions I've ever taken in my career. The most difficult decision I've ever taken in my career. And you have to remember, Edna Arbel was the state, I'm losing my words. לא, לא. לא. נו, התובעת המשפטית. State prosecutor. She had to decide whether to put on trial Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and she told me this decision was harder because this decision meant to decide on a trial when you don't have a witness, and it was really a big legal precedent. זה היה צעד תקדימי, and it made the whole change. It was very important. Well, don't be so. I'm losing my words. What happened to me? I'm excited. Okay, don't be so happy. It took us 8 hours. The trial lasted 8 hours till I was there with the camera again, and I heard the judge saying that this man is guilty and he's going to jail. And he went to jail for 8 years, and he died there. He died, yeah, and he died there in jail. And what he did to Orly, you can't imagine. She got strength you could never believe. And what she's doing now, she constructed a non-profit organization. I'm in it. I'm in the head of the organization. We give treatment to sexually abused men and women for almost nothing, for almost no pain. Just it's all trumot, and all over the country for hundreds, almost now we're getting to thousands of people. She's organizing it. She is organized. She's the head of it. I'm there, but she's the head of it. It's unbelievable how she behaved. This is Orly. And then 12 years ago, I met Tehila. Again, it started with a telephone to my show. A young girl asking me, please come and see me. I'm hospitalized in Ichilov Hospital. Please come and see me. I didn't know nothing about her. And I came and I met a gorgeous young girl, very smart, but so hurt and is devastated. She was after a terrible, very cruel suicide. And she told me, I think it was she was 18, and I think it was for her first time in life that she told anybody that she was raped by her father, by her brother, by all their friends for years. And I didn't even interview her. I just helped her for years. I went to visit her in the psychological hospital while she was hospitalized, and I brought her books. No. זה, לך להתחלה של זה. Okay. And I helped her in any way I could, all right? Whenever she was thrown out from anywhere she was hospitalized in, I tried to help her to get a better place, all right? Until 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she called me again. She needed big help. And when I met her, it was the first time I was introduced to her identities. Tehila is a DID person. All of you know what DID is? Yes, dissociative identity disorder. It's really a terrible disorder in which the victim develops many identities who takes his place when it's needed. She had 52 identities. 52. And she came to me and I helped her, and then she said, and actually she was thrown out of the last place she was there, and she was going to be on the street. And she told me, please take me to television. I want to tell the Israeli audience, the Israeli people, my story. So they will understand what I have. So they will understand what is the DAD I have. So when I go to a hospital, the staff, the staff will understand what they see, because they most of the time they call me schizophrenic, they give me drugs, and this is it. I was afraid to take her to television. She was so shaky and unstable, and how can she bear it? What will happen the day after? She will look like crazy on screen, and the day after she's on the set, how people will react her. Can she imagine what this exposure means? She said, please do it, I beg you. And then we made an agreement. I did, at that time, 2 years ago, I didn't have my own show. I had to do this documentary to another show, Amnon Levy, and I told, we made an agreement. We start shooting, but if it goes bad, if she feels bad, if she regrets, if she doesn't want it, we stop and we throw it away. And we do the whole documentary, and we'll show her, and only if she will say, okay, screen it, then we'll screen. If she regrets at the last minute, after we work, I don't know how much we work on it, we throw it away. She said, he said, Amnon Levy said, all right, we do it. And we did the whole thing, and I went to Haifa at night to show her the film. She couldn't really look at it, but she did, and she said, screen it, I want it. This is just a few minutes from that story of Tehila with the 52 identities. I start talking to her. If someone, she said, this is Tehila. If she feels that she wants to hurt her, one of the identities, I give them sweets. What? They eat the sweets. Look now, look carefully. Hey. Yeah. Who are you? Yeah. Who are you? Is it you, a boy? Sharon? I know you already. Are you angry? On what? About what? That we can't be at her home, in our home. What home? We want to have a home for ourselves. How old are you, Sharon? 10 and a half. I'm angry on Luz.
למה אתה כועס על
Why are you angry at Luz?
אני לא רוצה שהיא יותר תעשה דברים.
I don't want her to do things she just wants, like what? Like go with boys. She brings us a lot of money. But we don't want this money. Can you call Tehila, Sharon? Can you call her? Do you call her? Tehila. Do you call Tehila? Do you want to call anybody else? I want Dana to be here, so call her, okay?
Hi, Dana.
Hi, Dana, is it you? How are you?
בת כמה את, דנה?
How old are you? 12.
אל תגידי,
Don't worry,
הכל בסדר.
everything is okay. Can I call Tehila? Yes, please do.
חזרת אליי? חזרת אליי? תהילה?
Tehila, is it you?
חזרת אליי?
She's back. I was in a dissociation. This program, this movie, this film had a very strong effect. It was very, very effective. Tremendous effect. So many people talked about it. The main point is this film saved her life. She will tell you, and I will agree with her. It saved her life. Because we were there with the camera, with everything, she got a good place. The whole movie, I was going with her to a better place that was found for her. And sometimes when institutions see the camera, they behave, they make more effort sometimes. So we did. We got all the purposes we needed. We succeeded in getting them. And she got motivation to leave. People started reacting to her differently. When she go to hospital, the ones who saw this film know better how to treat her now. They start learning what the idea is. I learned so many things. I know I have to finish, but I learned so many things. So in so many ways that the state fails in really treating those victims. But usually media doesn't have good reputation. Usually they say about journalists and media, they want blood, they want sensations, they want rating. I don't know. I believe in the strength I have in my hands, and I just use it. I use it. These days, I'm running a program. We are before elections, and I call the new government to build an SOS program to save those victims of sexual abuse in childhood. And I believe in the media is a power to do good things. That's all. Thank you very much.